Biafrans, good morning and welcome to Mobbing Media International. I hope you are doing well where you are, and today we have come to our education movement of Biafrans in Nigeria, the political educators, those who like to educate you on the right path to follow, those who want to educate you on the right things to do. However, before I start, there is something I must do because it is important. Bible says, give honor to whom honor is due. And I cannot start today. Just yesterday was the birthday of the Director General of Mobbing, the irrepressible Igbo Biafran, the irredentist Igbo woman, Eberechukwu Anibog, aka Ada Biafra. Yesterday was her birthday, and it is wonderful on this platform to say happy birthday to her. She will live and live long as it takes to realize Biafra. If we get Biafra tomorrow, she will not die. She will still need to live and enjoy the fruits of the struggle. And so, my DG, I say, happy birthday. God bless you. Now today, I want to take us, we had a beginning, and I want us to take us to a true beginning, a proper, what I would like to call a proper beginning. Today we want to discuss the question of righteousness, integrity, and boldness in the Biafran struggle. Righteousness, integrity, and boldness in the Biafran struggle. And I want to talk about this matter because it is very critical. Whether you are a religious man or whether you are not. Even in our cultures, we all enjoy to live and to deal with a man who is righteous, a man who has integrity. Because if you don't have these two, there is no way you can acquire boldness. It's not going to be possible. Every boldness you exhibit will be foolhardiness. You will just be shadow boxing. But if you have righteousness, you will have character. If you have integrity, you will have character. Now, I don't want us to mystify the word righteousness. We have got used to mystifying it and making it look like it is one, it's a spiritual concept, but it's not as spiritual as we make it look like. What is righteousness? The Hebrew word shikenu, T-C-I-K-E-N-U, shikenu. It means doing the right thing, to do what is right. If you know what is right, do it. If you know what is correct, do it. If you know what will bring you accolades, what people will say, yes, you did well, do it. And what is integrity? Integrity is that capacity to exude trust so that people can trust you. When you tell them this is white, they will not live here, and then when the next time you come back, you start telling them that it is cream. Cream and white, they are not the same. Cream is milk. White is sparkling. Snow white. Or you come, next time you say it's purple. Maybe next time you tell them it's ash. No, that is integrity. Somebody define integrity, says if an old woman gives you an old 20 naira note to keep for her, when she asks for the money, please don't give her a new 20 naira note. If you do that, she will just immediately conclude that you spent her money before. You only managed to get it back. That's why you're giving her a new one. But if you give her the exact one she gave you to keep, the next time she can give you 20 million. And why am I discussing this? It is very, very critical for us in the Biafran struggle. As a matter of fact, I joined this struggle because I met people who found themselves doing the right thing. The chairman of Mobbing, Barrister Emeka Emekesri, very brilliant, sharp man. I discovered he likes to do what is right. But I didn't meet him first. I met Eberechukwu Anibog first. And I met those who were in the customary government. And I felt this is the right thing to do. And so, why am I discussing this? Because it is very, very critical that you will need to have, I call it the triplets of the same parents. Righteousness, integrity, and boldness. They are given birth to by the same parents. If you have righteousness and integrity, then you will have boldness. Even when they put an ICBM, an intercontinental ballistic missile, on your head, you will still be saying the thing. Why? because the Biafran ideology, we call it JET in mobbing, we call it JET. Justice, equity, and truth. We believe in justice. We believe in giving every man what is due to him, what is equitable, what he equitably deserves. And we also believe in truth. And so that's why, for us, in the movement of Biafrans in Nigeria, we insist that if you must get involved in this struggle, righteousness, integrity, they are indispensable goods. The Bible says something in the book of Proverbs. It says, righteousness exalts a nation, but sin is a reproach to any people. Sin is a reproach to any people. Why am I discussing this matter? I am discussing this matter because of two reasons. Number one, if you read the Biafran anthem, the original Biafran anthem, stanza 2. Well, let's go down to stanza 4. Stanza 4 of the Biafran anthem is a prayer to God. Stanza 4. Oh God, protect us from the hidden pitfall. Give us the grace to do, Oh God, protect us from the hidden pitfalls. Give us the strength to hit the humanist call, to always do and not to count the cost. Protect those who rule. Protect those who rule so that they can serve with resoluteness to make this climb a land of righteousness. Unquote. That's the 4th stanza of the Biafran anthem. To make this climb a land of righteousness. The first line in stanza 2 of the Biafran anthem says, Hail to Biafra, consecrated nation. Hail to Biafra, consecrated nation. You know what it means? It means that people who operate or who do anything within the Biafran clan, they should be people who have integrity and righteousness. Because the people who pronounced the Republic of Biafra on May 30, 1967, wanted it to be a consecrated nation. They wanted it to be a clan, that is, a nation of righteousness. So you cannot do anything without righteousness. If you want to get involved in this struggle, we must be able to trust you that your A is your A. It's not when we send you to Abidjan, you start going to Ouagadougou. It's not when we send you to go and meet our brothers in Germany, you will take another flight and go to London and stay. It's not when we send you to the United States to go to the UN, you will not go to the UN and do something else that you were not sent to do. Though, this is why it is critical. Another reason why we must bring in the God factor and righteousness, integrity in this struggle is because it has been proved beyond reasonable doubt that Biafrans and the Jews in Palestine are not just spiritual relations, but biological relations, as a matter of fact. Abraham is what we call Idiom in this clan. The word Chineke is a Hebrew word, which means chai, or chi, C-H-A-I, and Neke, which means God and Creator. Bibi Netanyahu, that word is Nete Anyahu. Nete Anyahu. Bibi Netanyahu. Time will fail me to refer you to the Bible, where you see in 2 Samuel and 1 Samuel, you see the words Aya. They are the descendants of whom Aya. The word we call in Adam. Adam is Adam. These are Igbo words. So if the things that happened to the Jews will happen to the Biafrans, the things that happen to us, if the Biafrans and the Jews used God, if the Jews used God to get to where they are today, the Biafrans have no choice but to pass through the same way. That is why in Israel, they have 9 enemy countries. And those 9 enemy countries have enough anger and hatred to detonate an intercontinental ballistic missile on Israel and go to sleep. And nothing will happen. And they will not bother. But you see, this is one tiny small country in the midst of 9 enemy states. Why are they surviving? As far as I'm concerned, it is the God factor. They have a covenant with their father Abraham. And that covenant has sustained them. And so we cannot wish away the God factor if we want to be. I'm talking about real godliness. I'm not talking about somebody flowing in religious motion or speaking in tongues. You can speak in tongues and fall down 20 times and rise up with 21 problems. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about knowing God and following his direction in the struggle, and knowing fully well that in the life we live, it is like planting seeds. One of my greatest philosophies of life is a seed. It produces exactly what you put into it. Whatsoever you sow, that's what Galatians 6 verse 7 says. Do not be deceived, God cannot be mocked. Whatsoever a man soweth, that he shall reap. We can't wish away the God factor. If we wish away the God factor, we will be on our way to wishing away righteousness. And if we wish away righteousness, that means the boldness we exhibit is simply stupidity. Let me cite you a few examples. There was a German poet and philosopher named François Marie Aud. Many people who read philosophy, or many people in academics, they know him as Voltaire. V-O-L-T-A-I-R-E, Voltaire. That's his popular name in intellectual circles. But his full name is François Marie Aud. A-O-A-D. He was born in 1694. He died in 1778, sorry. He was born in 1694. He died in 1778. He made a statement that I want to refer you to. He said, by the time I finish with the Bible, there will be none left. I'm sure those who are watching me remember the biggest ship ever built, the Titanic. The Titanic was built in 1912. The Titanic was built never to sink. It was the world's biggest ship. But those who built the ship made the biggest mistake of their life. What did they say? They said this ship is so strong, so powerful, so wonderfully built that not even God can sink it. Huh? But on 2:20 a.m., on April 15, 1912, the very first voyage of the Titanic sank. What sank the Titanic? You need to hear this. An iceberg struck the Titanic in its very first voyage. And the Titanic sank, killing 1,517 people. April 15, 1912. That was the world's biggest ship. What was their problem? They made the biggest mistake. They tried to play God. In the Biafran struggle, Moabinites believe that we cannot play God. Moabinites believe that we are God's people, and we get led by God to do some of the things we will do. We will not take over God's position in the Biafran struggle. I'll give you another example. In 1986, at an international airport, journalists cornered the last Soviet leader, Mikhail Gorbachev. They asked him a question. They said, sir, are you sure with the crisis rocking the Soviet Union that this union will survive? The man looked at them. Instead of just answering the question, he pandered his way to Jesus Christ. And that's what became his Waterloo. What did the man say? The man said that the cord, I quote, the cord holding the Soviet Union is so strong that not even Jesus Christ can break it. Huh? That was a man playing God. 3 years later, in 1989, the Soviet Union not only broke up, they broke up into 15 republics. All these countries you are hearing today, Russia, Azerbaijan, Uzbekistan, Ukraine, Belarus, this one, they are all Soviet Republic, Lithuania, Estonia, Latvia. They are all former Soviet republics. And on Christmas Day, the day we remember Jesus, December 25th, 1991, at Minsk. Minsk is the capital of Belarus. It was called Belarusia then. Belarus. Gorbachev met the president of Russia, the president of Ukraine, and the president of Belarus, and they signed a document that stated, quote, the Soviet Union as a subject of international law and a geopolitical entity ceases to exist. And that brought the biggest country in the world to its knees. Why? Their president made an overstatement that not even Jesus Christ can break it. I sent you one more example. I'm sure you remember the rock band called the Beatles. The Beatles. Between 1960 and 1963, the Beatles sold 800 million records. I didn't say they made $800 million. They sold 800 million records. They were the biggest band in history, led by John Lennon. Another member was Paul McCartney. But in 1969, the Beatles made a statement that eventually destroyed them. What did they say? They said they have become more popular than Jesus Christ. And then in 1970, John Lennon just walked away from the band. A year after that, Paul McCartney walked away, and the Beatles ended up to be cast to the dustbin of history. And then on December 8, 1980, a fan shot John Lennon dead and said that he loves him so much, he doesn't know what else to do for him except to kill him. That was the end of the Beatles. I remember there was one Biafran leader who leads a group who says anybody who follows Jesus Christ cannot follow him. And I was wondering, Esibegi Agebe, you cannot wish righteousness away in this struggle and hope to achieve anything. The reasons are obvious. We are God's people, and God must take a decision over the things that happen to us. I'm not talking about just going to, the other time I told you that if Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. just finished preaching and he will go and sit down, America will never change. I'm not talking about raising preachers who will just preach in church or preach and at the end of the day. That's why in my ministry, I believe in fighting sin and ignorance. There are too many people who are dying as a result of ignorance. And the ignorance is worse when it is spiritual ignorance. The only one second to it is political ignorance, which we will talk about the next time. But today, I want to encourage us. Under this platform, Mobinites are asking you, do not just get involved in the Biafran struggle. Ensure that you have integrity. If they send you on an errand, go on the errand the way you were sent. That's what led me to join Mobbing. Because I met men and women that have integrity there. I met men and women that relatively will tell you things that they will do, and they will do it, except when it is beyond their control. And they will own up, say, yes, I said I was going to do this, but I wasn't able to do it because of so and so. Not somebody who will look at you with stark raving bravado and tell you, I said I would do it and I didn't do it, so what? No, it is not that way. Righteousness, integrity. David said something in the book of Psalm 25. He said, integrity would deliver me. Integrity would deliver me. In Genesis chapter 20, there is this hidden king called Abimelech, who saw Abraham's wife Sarah, because Abraham had told a lie and said to Abimelech, Sarah is my sister. So the man went and collected the 60-year-old beautiful woman and took her to his house. And for several times he wanted to sleep with the woman. God stopped her. And so one night God went to the woman, to the man, and said, why are you? That woman is somebody's wife. If you touch her, God, this is where I'm going. In verse 5 of Genesis chapter 20, Abimelech, this hidden king, the man doesn't speak in tongues. He's not born again, the way we say it. He doesn't know all the things we are talking about when we flow in religious motion. The man said, Lord, I quote, Lord, will you also destroy a righteous nation? In the integrity of my heart and in the innocency of my hand have I done this. Did he not say to me, she's my sister? Look at the next verse. God said, I saw integrity in you, and that's why I prevented you from going to sleep with her. Integrity will deliver you. Integrity will save you from a lot of troubles. This was a hidden king. He said, in the integrity of my heart. Can you imagine that? Can you say that? You that is involved in the Biafran struggle. Can you say that it is in the integrity of your heart and in the innocency of your hand that you are doing what you are doing? If you deceive Biafrans on the ground that you are fighting for their freedom, when you are looking for popularity, when you are looking for resources with which you will line your pocket, and at the end of the day, they find out, not only will they be against you, but even God in heaven will pay you, because he has stated it, do not be deceived. I cannot be mocked. Whatsoever a man sows, that is what is going to reap. What are you sowing? Are you sowing the right things in integrity? Are you saying the right things in righteousness? Are you doing the right things? The things you are doing, the things you are saying, are they the truth? Or you are making them up so that you can just win? That is why when I started talking to Biafrans some years back, I told them that all the historical facts available to me that I dug out from books and from research, I'm going to place it at their disposal so that they will be able to judge for themselves. Why am I saying this? I'm saying this because I want to encourage you, my brother and my sister. Please, always do what is right. Don't do what is wrong. You will pay for it. If you plant guava during harvest, please don't expect apples. Don't expect mango. That is the law in Genesis chapter 2 verse 9. When God commanded every tree to begin to produce fruits of its own kind. If you see a woman give birth to a dog, or half dog, half human, that woman might have slept with a dog. Otherwise, if it is a full-blown man, human being that the woman slept with, she will give birth to a human. That is the law of God. You cannot, no matter how much genetic manipulation you do, you cannot cause mango to produce guava. It will not happen. And so that's why I encourage you. Please, I beg you, in this struggle. I don't know which group you are leading. We are going to be talking about unity in the coming days. But I don't know which group you belong to. But under the movement of Biafrans in Nigeria, we believe in saying the truth. We believe in doing justice. We believe in doing equity. And we believe in saying the truth. Under the movement of Biafrans in Nigeria, we believe that life will produce exactly what you put into it. Because life is a seed. So we encourage you. It doesn't matter which group you are leading, but for crying out loud, do not deceive people. Whatever you say, do it. Whatever you have grace to do, all of us have different grace. There are things I can't do, my brother can do it. There are things I can't do, my sister, the other side, can do it. And that's why we should all come together. So that at the end of the day, listen, there is only one way I judge those who do not want to unite with others. There is only one judgment. There is only one way to measure the reason why they don't want to unite with others. The reason is simple. There is something they are doing that they don't want others to find out. That is the truth. If you are not doing anything, let me speak this English in the Nigerian parlance, wayoriously. If you are not doing any wayo, you should be able to open your door. And if you live in a glass house, don't throw stones. If you are going to throw stones, friends, then make sure your house is made of wood, of wall. Because your stones will break down houses. Mobin is saying, we have a stone house. We have a wooden house. We have a rock-solid house that we have erected in righteousness, integrity. And that is what is giving us boldness to talk. But and that's why when you do the wrong thing, we tell you, this is wrong. There is nothing wrong in doing the wrong thing. I want to repeat this. There is nothing wrong in doing the wrong thing. What is wrong after doing the wrong thing is to refuse. When somebody calls your attention to it, say, hey, Ross, what you have done is wrong. You should be able to look at it objectively and own up and say, hey, I goofed here. I'm sorry about it. I wrote one article in the newspaper many years ago, about 15 years ago. The article is titled, "I'm sorry, please, thank you." Very short sentences. But if you live through life in a day and you didn't use 2 of them, you have not communicated well. I am sorry when you go wrong. Please, when you want to ask somebody for something. Thank you when somebody does you a favor. You use those things. So if you do a wrong thing and somebody points you to it, you should be able to acknowledge it and say, yes, I missed it here. Next time, I'm going to do better. And that's why Mobbing is asking you. If you want to get involved in the Biafran struggle, if you want to fight for a people, Ndi Igbo are righteous people. The question is no longer whether the Jews or the Hebrews, and what Barrister Emeka said in his book, Nigeria, Biafra or Nigeria presidency, what the Igbos want. That's a book you need to find. You need to look for that book and read it. He has analyzed, he has done critical research to find out that the word Igbos is where you get the word Hebrew, from the word Hebrews, and that's also where you get the word Igbos, or the language as Igbo. So you see that we are all related. In fact, there are researches that have shown comprehensively now that it is Jews that are Ndi Igbo, and not just that Ndi Igbo are Jews. That is what is even at stake, because those people, they argue that Abraham became a Jew at the age of 75. And before then, Ndi Igbo has been in existence. If you read Kathleen Acholono's book, they lived before Adam. Prehistory of the Igbos. They never been ruled. You will understand the issues that we are discussing. But as an Igbo Biafran, movement of Biafrans in Nigeria, we're asking you, always ensure that what you are doing in the process of this struggle is the right thing. That is righteousness. Also, ensure that whatever you do or whatever you say, that you bring integrity into it. Look at integrity save the hidden king. Because he said, I was doing what I was doing innocently. If you do something innocently, fine. But if you do it deliberately, knowing fully well that what you are doing is wrong and you are deceiving people, God will get you. God is going to find you out and you cannot escape. Stop running around. Do not get involved in the Biafran struggle if you don't have integrity. We want to encourage you. Come with the heart of integrity. Look at what Mahatma Gandhi said, a Hindu. Can you imagine? A Hindu. Mahatma Gandhi said, and I quote, "You Christians have a document that has the capacity to turn the world upside down, blow all civilizations into pieces, and bring peace to a war-torn planet. And you treat it as if it is nothing more than a piece of literature," unquote. Do I need to say anything again? The Bible has said, righteousness exalts a nation. That's part of the document that Mahatma Gandhi, a Hindu, is saying that the Bible has enough dynamite to blow all civilization into pieces, turn the world upside down, and bring peace to a one-torn planet. He said, yet we treat it as if it is nothing more than a piece of literature. The Mobbinites will believe that God is the ones driving what we do. And we will not do anything. We will not tell lies. We will not do evil deliberately just to be able to get involved in the struggle. And if we do that, Biafra will never come to pass. Do all you can to ensure that righteousness, integrity will be your anchor to boldness. If you do that, then both God and man will back our Biafran struggle. Once again, I say see you next week. I'm your brother and friend, evangelist Dr. Joseph Abu, Director of Political Education and Governance, the movement of Biafrans in Nigeria, the political educators. God bless you. See you next week.